World of Warcraft Legion. Is it worth a buy and a subscribe and a play? Let's read. Kingdoms will burn. The burning legion surges into Azeroth in countless numbers while the warlock Gul'dan seeks the hidden remains of Illidan the Betrayer, the final component in a ritual to summon the Dark Titan Sargeras. As your world crumbles beneath the invasion, you must take up an ancient artifact weapon of unbridled power and forge a forbidden pact with the vengeful demon hunters of the Illidari. For only you and the accursed allies can end the Legion's apocalyptic ambitions and prevent Azeroth from falling beneath the great burning shadow. Yes guys, Legion is finally here. The next chapter, I think this is the 6th upgrade, expansion, whatever you want to call it, of World of Warcraft. I'm massively into World of Warcraft. Played it for 7 years as a Horde rogue and mage, and then moved to the Alliance and then give it up as a bad job when it went shit. And it's been shit for such a long time. That's the trouble with World of Warcraft. It's gone from 22 million to probably about 5 million in the subscribers, which is still very successful. Probably the most successful video game of all time, I would think. It's probably made the most money out of every other game ever made, ever, by like a country mile. I don't know that. That's just me. But let's talk about Legion and what it brings to the table, because let's be honest, after Warlords of Draenor, World of Warcraft was at an all-time low. It was on its knees. Draenor delivered quite a change to the whole way Warcraft was. It changed the way missions were done as well, with these tiered missions. It added the garrison, which was fun at first, but it just kind of dwindled off into another pile of shit that seems to epitomise World of Warcraft. Ever since the Burning Crusade, I would say it's just got worse and worse and worse, reaching an all-time low with Cataclysm, which was just diabolical. In my eyes, I just thought it was shite. Got a bit better with Warlords, but, you know, people are fed up with it. And rightly so, because what made this game so good has all gone. It's the whole dumbing down, and I'm not going to go into it all because you know how I feel about it. If you want to hear about it, you'll hear the whole rant probably in my Warlords of Draenor review, with all of this bullshit that you can teleport into any dungeon, you don't have to ride there anymore, you can fly in every frickin' zone, which is so annoying. The whole ganking thing is just taking away the fact that, well, in the sense that the guards guarding even little insignificant outposts are skull and crossbone f***ing guards. It's all the fun things that made World of Warcraft amazing seems to have been taken out by some at f***ing Blizzard HQ that should be sacked because he's a prick. The reason there's not 22 million people still playing World of Warcraft is because all the stuff that was fun, that made you feel like you were in a world, is gone. You can now just teleport anywhere you want. You know what? All the raids that used to set off from Orgrimmar and head down into Dustwallow Marsh to fight a Nixia and all that, you had to ride there. All that's gone. But that was fun because we used to gank them on the way and have huge battles. The battles between South Shore and Torren Mill, you know, started by somebody ganking a grey, usually me. And it was great fun. These used to last for days and days and days. Well, not days and days and days, that's an exaggeration. These used to last for hours and hours and hours. They really did, especially on a Sunday evening. It was just like Sunday evening at the Torren Mill. It was just like the Wild West. It was great, absolutely great. But all them days is now gone. And now World of Warcraft is all about, oh, I can't be bothered. I just want to teleport there. I want it on a plate. 2 hits, thanks. I want this. Oh shit, I'm farming herbs. Oh, he's going to get that herb before me. Oh, don't worry, we'll keep it there for you as well, so you can both pick the herb. But how can that be? How can that be? He's picked the herb. It should vanish. No, not anymore. Not anymore. We've had too many complaints from console players. I haven't. Console. You can't even play this on the consoles yet. But yeah, they've dumbed it down. As a mage at level 60, I had, I think, 22 powers to manage on my hotbars. Now at the same level, you have 14. And a lot of them aren't even aggressive powers. They just like teleport to wherever, you know. It's just what made this game great has gone. So we have Legion now. Has that brought any of it back? Yes, it has. It has, but it's also brought a lot of shit with it. What it does bring to the table is class identity more than ever before. The classes have totally been rewritten, pretty much from the ground up. Everybody is now different. Whereas, can you remember, if you're a WoW player, everybody kind of was different initially? Can you remember that? When in Vanilla WoW and Burning Crusade, all the classes were totally different. But then they all, because of the whinging on the forums, they all ended up with about 6 fucking stuns each. And it was just, you know, World of Stuncraft at its peak. It's still pretty bad with all the stuns, but it's not as bad as it used to be, because a lot of the powers have been just like stripped away. What they've done now is, though, when you get to level 100, around about 100, you get your artifact weapon. Now, what that is, it is your end game weapon. That's it. Gone are the days where you would craft a good weapon or go and farm one. You now just get it. But this weapon can be augmented with, it's like a forge system where you can add different things to this weapon to make it more powerful. But I think that's a bad idea, because as much as you can change the way it looks cosmetically, it's still, you know that everybody has the same weapon. It's just augmented differently with how much work they've put into making it. And I don't like that. I like the whole idea that people have different weapons and you trade weapons and you can farm for weapons. I don't think that was broken. Why they've changed that, I don't really get it, because that system was fine. You had the PvP weapons and you had PvE weapons. You know, whichever way you wanted to go down, if you were just a PvP, you could go the PvP route and get a really good weapon. If you were a PvE, you could go the PvE route and get a really good weapon. And there was different types of weapons. Now it's one weapon and you can augment it the way you want. And it is fun. I mean, I'm not knocking it too much. It is fun doing that, seeing the different paths you can go down with your weapon. But I don't think that was necessary at all. What probably was necessary was revamping all the classes, and they have been revamped. I think they've been dumbed down even more, but it's better than it was. It's better than it was, because what they've done is they've made them different. They were too samey the last time. I didn't feel much different playing a paladin, a warrior, a death knight. They all seem to have the same bullshit. You just count the little fucking notches of whether it's holy, whether it's adrenaline, whether it's rage or whatever, and then you press a finishing move, and then you can stun them with 3 different stuns, and you've got a couple of get out of stun freeze. I mean, that was it. Didn't matter what class you played, that was the way the whole thing played. And it's now different. And what's made it different is the Demon Hunter. Man, the Demon Hunter is by far the best class I've ever played in WoW, and I've took nearly every class to the max limit in WoW, and I love the Demon Hunter. It is so much fun to play. It is hilarious. It has these wings. Whenever you're falling, you just deploy your wings and you can glide down. That is a master stroke. It has Fell Rush, which is like a charge, which you can press twice, and it does damage if it hits anything. It has loads of different AoE abilities. It has 2 modes as well. You can either be a tank or a DPS. It doesn't have a healing mode yet. Whether they add that, I doubt they will, because of the way the lore is with that. They're not known for their healing. They're just like bastards. So you have these 2 great trees, the tank tree and the DPS tree, and I love it. I mean, I was all set to play me paladin. You know, after I'd played, the way I was going to do this review was I was going to play the Demon Hunter to halfway to get the feel of it, and then just play my favourite class, the Paladin. My Paladin hasn't even been logged in, and I'm almost at 110 now. I think I'm 107 or something. So I haven't actually got all the way to 110. I don't need to do this review. You'll find out why later on. You won't. I'll just not say anything, but that sounded good. So yeah, the new class is great. It really plays well. It's fun to play. It feels like you have freedom. I mean, you can just be free with this class. Even when you're not in combat, you're doing all these leaps and rushes and glides. It's awesome. What else they've done is, for every class now you have this order hall. Now they all look different for each class. All the druids are in one place, the mages are in another place, the demon hunters are in another place, and this replaces your garrison. at your end game garrison. It works in the same principle, except they've done away with all the shitty building of buildings, which I thought was wank. I liked it at first, but it got so monotonous after about 6 months with it. But at first it was really cool because it was different, but they've ditched all that, and instead you have these order halls which look really cool depending on the character you've got. In there you have your whole garrison ability where you can send men on missions and you get quest rewards. But I'm pleased to report in this, it's nowhere near as complicated or as big. I think you only have 5 guys this time. It's much more compact and manageable and makes perfect sense and is fun. You've also got all sorts of quest givers in your hold, and you do lots of class specific quests, which again gives you that sense of an identity with the character that you're playing, which was lacking a lot in the other expansions. So I'm real fan of the new class system. Abilities, yeah, it's fun. It is still fun to play. The actual world, I'm not going to go into the story much because I don't want to spoil it, obviously. But it's basically, like I said in the beginning, it's the Burning Legion coming through to invade Azeroth. The game takes place on the Broken Isles, which are gorgeous. There's some really nice zones. There's some that are just, the first zone that I went to, I can't remember the name, just felt, seen it all before. But as I got into further around, and I've been in every zone of it now, there's some really gorgeous zones. There's one where the music is the Ashenvale music, but it's like sung in a high-pitched choir voice, and it's so nice, so atmospheric. They've done a really good job, and the questing is really fun as well. I mean, there's no hunting around for where should I be going now. It's all laid out really well for you, and the quests, as much as they are very similar to Warlords of Draenor, where you have these instanced quests and tiered quests where you might have 7 or 8 stages of the quest. There's a lot of them in there. The only downside that I'm going to say is that if you're playing with your friends, there's, I think, way too many solo quests in there where we found that we weren't able to do together, and it was kind of, we're supposed to be in the same team, why aren't we doing these together? So there was too many of them, if I want to be nitpicky. But overall the questing was really, really fun. Lots of different kinds of quests, and some of them are hilarious. I mean, I was chasing a little imp through Dalaran, and it was just so different to any other quest that I'd ever done, and it was hilarious. It was just like hiding behind books and stuff, so obvious where it was, but I really did enjoy doing that quest. Lots of bosses, lots of rare elites like you got in Warlords of Draenor, so it's the same kind of thing. Lots of loot drops, loads to do really. I mean, like I mentioned with augmenting your weapon earlier on, a lot of the rewards you get now are energy that you transfer to your weapon, and when you get it to the end, it's like your weapon levels up when it gets to the end. That's why you'll see at the bottom of the screen there's kind of 2 XP bars now. One's for your weapon and one's for your general XP, and when the weapon one gets to the end, you can then add another point to your weapon, which you're leveling up, maybe an ability that lowers the cooldown of one of your other abilities, and so on. It is fun. There's a lot to do now. You feel like there's a lot to do, and you can have a break from the questing by going back to your order hall and sending out your garrison men on quests and managing your weapon and things like that. Crafting is there. I haven't really done a lot of the crafting. It's too early to be really commenting on the crafting side, but it'll just be the usual stuff. I did mention the gathering has changed. I'm not sure when that came in because I haven't been playing really that much up to the launch of Legion, so I think it came in with Legion. If it didn't, well, it didn't, but it's in now, and that's the main thing. So basically, when you see a node that you want to mine or pick, you're always going to get it. Even if there's someone else mining or picking it, it'll stay there for you. The dungeons are fun. I've done pretty much all the dungeons leading up to the level that I'm at now. I've had some great fun in them. Some of them are very similar to Draenor dungeons. I mean, the one that's on your screen now, it's very similar to one that was in Draenor, but I found them to be fun. They last about 30 to 45 minutes each. We have wiped a few times. If you get a bad healer or a bad tank, you can wipe. So they're not, a straightforward cakewalk. Some of them are quite tough if you don't know what you're doing. And just remember, never stand in purple shit. If you take nothing away from this review at all, take that. Do not stand in purple shit. So there you go, guys. This is Legion. It's a great expansion for a great game. I love it. I really do like it. I didn't at first, but I really do like it, and I wish I didn't, because I'm probably going to stay subbed for far too long and spend too much of my time in it. But they've done a good job with this, it has to be said. I hope they follow it up with some really good content patches, and above all, guys, I hope they open up a vanilla Burning Crusade server. They'd make a fortune. I'd be subbed for life.